love into the family. He pours love into the home, so his love can overflow into the world. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life removing pain. Lord, let my words heal a heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people, so his love can overflow into the world.
God bless you. Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us for another 3ABM Presents program. So happy that you could join us. You know, I'm going to start off this program with a someone once said, but someone once said that love slays what we have been, that we may become what we are not. And this is such a true statement, especially speaking about the love of God. When our lives have been touched by the love of God, we can never be the same. And actually, when we allow God's love to flow through us and in us to where we can share that love with others, others' lives are touched and changed as well. Well, this program today is all about love, especially since Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Barbara Kerr from Taste of Health Ministries in Gaston, South Carolina, has prepared a wonderful vegetarian menu, especially for the sweethearts and the special people in your life. And this is what's on the menu for today. She is going to be making spinach and tofu stuffed shells, baked fennel with a crumb crust, buttery mint carrots, boy that sounds good, polenta and bell pepper bread, pan-fried apple slices over sweetheart puffs, and a mixed berry foamy. So right off the top of this program, as always, I'm going to invite you to get your VCRs ready to record this program so you can get the recipes, or get ready to jot them down, or check out our website at 3abn.org and you can obtain the recipes that way as well. And if you can't do all that, just give us a call right here at 1-800-752-3226. And I know that you are going to be blessed, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun today in the kitchen as well, so don't go away. Well, with Valentine's Day just around the corner, there are a lot of people of all ages really preparing for this big Valentine splash when they shower the people that they love with carefully selected poetic cards, or even homemade Valentines. I really like those homemade Valentines. And not to mention a whole assortment of all kinds of gifts that are really supposed to show how much we love the people around us. And I do have to say that when Dan and I first got married, he wasn't very good at remembering all of those little thoughtful, little romantic things. But I have to say that he has changed a lot over the years, and now he always remembers. And even though Valentine's Day doesn't really have that very good of history behind it, my philosophy is never pass up a good opportunity to tell those that you love them. Which brings me to my little historical nugget for the day. Did you know that in the year 1875, there was a man named Marcel de Leclerc, obviously French. He was a painter who lived in France, and he wanted to prove to his girlfriend just how much he loved her. So he hired a scribe to write the words, "I love you," 1,875,000 times. Now, he really wanted it to come directly from his heart, but he really didn't want to do the actual writing himself. So he dictated the words, "I love you," to a scribe that he hired. And the scribe would write the words and then also repeat the words as he was writing them. So by the time this letter actually reached this girlfriend, the words, "I love you," get this, had been spoken and written 5,625,000 times. And Robert Ripley from Ripley's Believe It or Not said these words, "Never was love made manifest by as great an expenditure of time and effort." Now, being the romantic that I am, I have to say amen and bravo to the effort, but I also have to say this. If my husband ever did anything like that, I would not be convinced that I was loved, but I would be convinced that he was crazy. Because love really isn't how many times you write the words, and it isn't how often you say the words. It's so much more than that. You know, someone once said it like this, that love is not what you do, but what you are. Love is really taking the time to take out the garbage, dry the dishes, change the diapers. You know, love is taking some hot soup to a sick friend, and love is really being conscious of the details and sensitive to the needs of someone. You know, what good is a letter that says, "I love you" 5 million times when you, right now, you need someone to go with you to the store, or you need someone to listen to you when you got a problem? You know, love is not what you do, it's who you are. You know, there are a lot of different flavors of love in the world, but genuine love, a love that will stand the test, can really only come from God, because God is love. And I hope you have your Bibles handy, because I'd really like for you to look up this text. It's found in 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. And I'm reading from the Amplified Version today, and it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love springs from God, and he who loves his fellow men is begotten or born of God, and is coming progressively to know and understand God, to perceive and recognize and get a better and clearer knowledge of him. He who does not love has not become acquainted with God, and does not and never did know him, because God is love." You know, when Jesus comes into your heart, there's a lot of things that happen, but one of them is he really puts his heart of love inside of you, inside of us. And that love has got to be expressed somehow. And if we don't express it, I tell you, the spirit inside of us is just going to dry up. And that's why we do programs like the one that we're doing today. You know, reaching out to somebody and inviting them over to your home, spending time with them, listening to their problems is what love is all about. And while they're at your house, I mean, why not serve them a great gourmet vegetarian dinner while they're there? Or maybe you have a family member that really gives you a headache on a regular basis. Well, I would like to challenge you to cook them a big, healthy, good-tasting veggie dinner, and then just shower them with love and watch what happens. You know, you're going to find out that love really is the greatest mountain mover and heart changer on the face of the earth. I've discovered that myself, because God is love, and God, He's in the changing business. He changes darkness to light. He changes ashes to beauty. He changes conflict into peace. And believe it or not, He will even change a heart like mine and a heart like yours. Father, in Jesus' name, we just want to praise you today, because you are so powerful. You are so all-knowing. And you are so wonderful, Lord, that you want to take the time to reach out to us as sinful, carnal-natured people, and you want to change us. You want to transform us to be like you, to where we are loving and gentle and people that care for the people around us. Father, I just pray that you will do that today. Lord, your word says that we have not because we ask not, and so we are taking the time today, Lord, to ask that you will transform our hearts to be more lovable than they ever have been before. Help us, oh God, to be just channels of that beautiful love that you have. Allow your love, Lord, to shine through us, that the lives of those around us will be transformed forever. Lord, how much we realize that you must increase and we must decrease. And we pray, Father, we're giving you permission to allow that to happen in our lives in a big way. And we thank you in advance, Lord, for what you will do. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. We serve such an awesome God. I'm so thankful that he really does take the time to shine his love into our lives, and he transforms us. And right now, Mahalia Apolinar is going to sing about it in a song that's entitled, Look What Love Has Done. So come on into our living room and listen to this neat song.
The moon was just a rock spinning in the sky, where once the stars were only tiny points of light. Now the moon looks like it's heaven shining pearl. Now those stars, they look like windows into another world. Look what love has done to me. Look what love has done. There's poetry in all I see. Look what love has done. And my heart is dancing through each day. My soul is running free. Look what love has done to me. Oh, well, once each breath was just a sigh of aching emptiness, where once I hardly felt the beating in my chest. Now each breath feels like a precious kiss of life. Now inside me fleet the wings of butterflies. Look what love has done to me. Look what love has done. This must be how it's meant to be. Look what love has done. And my heart is dancing through each day. My soul is running free. Look what love has done to me. And I can't tell, was that a violin, or did you say something? Was that lightning striking where I stand? Or did you just reach out, There's poetry in all I see. Look what love has done. And my heart is dancing through each day. My soul is running free. Look what love has done to, oh, done to me. Look what love has done to me. Dancing through each day. Oh.
Welcome back, and I hope that you're ready for some romantic recipes.
That's
and
right.
the queen of romantic recipes is right here, Barbara
That's
Kerr.
funny.
Welcome back. It's good to have you back again.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
And
That's very sweet.
And you have been cooking up some romantic recipes. Tell us, what was the inspiration behind the menu that you picked today?
Well, you know, when you're thinking of your sweetheart, for me it has to be something that I know my husband's going to eat. So it can't be too, you know, too girlish, too much chick food. So I really tried to pick things that I knew Bill would like this time. Although there was one dish that he totally surprised me on. I thought he would absolutely hate it, and he loved it. So I was very happy with that. He's a little picky. He's kind of like your husband, and you know, Danny's not picky. He just, there are certain things he can't eat. And so
right.
he just, you know, it makes it harder for you in the kitchen. So Bill just chooses not to.
So these are recipes that were tried and tested on your husband.
He loves the shells we're making today. He said they are better than any pasta shell he's ever had with cheese in it.
All
so,
right.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So this is like a major endorsement.
Oh, he was happy with the whole meal, so it made me feel good.
Oh,
So.
terrific.
But I thought before we cooked that we should do something special, and that is I'd like to show people how to make a card for either their sweetheart or for, you know, a girlfriend or someone that they just want to send something to. And I wanted you to know that making cards really isn't that difficult. Like, here is one example of a card
it's
that I have made.
Beautiful.
And you can actually buy.
Did you even make this, love?
Nope, you can buy these individual things. Like I have these little guys here. You can buy them from a craft store, and all these pre-cut out hearts. Now, what I did do on this one, though, these are little like eyelets, and I actually cut holes, you know, with a little hole punch. And then what you can do is you set an eyelet. This is not something very expensive. You'll just set it over there and just
Tap
you know,
it in there.
Yeah. So with the right tools that cost just a few dollars, you can make a nice little card. And then I would put a little picture inside and then write something sweet.
Oh, that is so precious. Do you know that homemade cards to me mean so much more than the bought cards?
I like to get them, and I love to give them.
And actually, there are several viewers that over the years have sent me homemade cards, and I've kept them. They've meant so much to me.
That's really nice. I love them too. I keep them. I love my homemade cards, and if you send me any, I will be keeping them.
Well, you know, this is inspiring me to make some right here.
Well, good. We're going to, this one was actually pre-cut. I just bought this, so this really is not difficult. It's already cut out for you. What we're going to do is I just want to show people how simple this is. Just take a little spot of hot glue.
You know, where would we be without the glue gun?
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, I use it for everything at home.
I'll put the man right there. Oops.
That is so
some
nice.
love.
Now, do you make homemade cards for your husband?
Yes, I do. I do, and I
Does
make
he-
homemade cards at the holidays.
Does he like them better than the bought cards too?
I find that if I really want to get Bill's attention, I just need to write him a letter. Do you ever do that for Danny anymore? You know, write them a
Oh,
little
yes.
letter.
Well, in fact, this new CD that I'm working on, I'm dedicating the CD to my husband, and there is a song on there where basically what the song is about is I'm thanking the Lord for giving me a precious gift of my husband, and it's called You Are the One. And so that's going to be on the new CD that will come out sometime this year.
You know, this morning I was reading in my Bible, and it hit me again that every text that I turned to said that we can do things for other people, but if we don't have love, we are not Christians. And that means love for our husbands and wives. That's love to our children. That's love to our friends and the people that we go to church with that sometimes maybe might be difficult to get along with, but we need to love everybody. And if we can't show love to each other, then we really don't have what...
Because God is love. You know, that so goes along with what I talked about at the beginning of this program.
I love your devotionals. They always just
thank
touch my
you.
heart. I want to show you something else you can do that's simple to make your card look pretty, and then we're going to move on. You can just need a little sponge you can cut, and then this helps to outline.
Now, is this a little ink blot?
This is just an ink pad, yeah. And you can pick any colors, and what it does is it just makes the edges of your card stand out.
Yes, that is really pretty.
It doesn't take very long to pick up, you know, one of these.
Well, that's really a good idea.
Why don't you finish that up for me while I get something
love
out?
to.
Just don't burn yourself on my glue gun.
You know, there's an empty place on this card right here. I'm thinking that there should be some lips right there.
You got some lipstick on that'll make an imprint.
Well, I'm thinking, you know, this looks like a real romantic
A real personal
card.
card.
And,
That's right.
you know, this isn't
you want-
really in the shape of well, let me just try it anyway. Well, see,
It looks like blush.
that looks like lips right there. Okay.
I have a special card for a friend, and I made this for you just a
Aw.
little while ago.
I'm going to have to show this to
This
our
has
viewers.
special meaning, and it's been
Can
a
somebody
while.
take isn't that sweet?
It's been a while since you've gotten something from me with a little pig on it.
Well, Barb has sent me a whole collection of pig items, and oh, how sweet! And this has a picture of Barb and I in the middle, and it says, "Dear Linda, you will always be my good friend. Thanks for all the many laughs and fun times here in the 3ABN kitchen. I love you dearly like a sister. Love, Barb." Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that is so precious. You know, this is going to be one of those that I stick away in my little hope chest and keep.
Good. And a little
Thank you.
Valentine present for you.
Well, thank
Now
you.
I know
thank
you'll
you,
keep
thank
both of
you.
them the card.
Well,
And
you
they're
know,
kind of along the same.
You know how I am with gifts, though. I mean, if they're anywhere in the vicinity, they get opened. Even if it's 2
good.
weeks
I
before
didn't
Christmas.
Open your
I open them.
That's
My
funny.
sister, she doesn't like that. She's like, I'm not going to send it to you till after Christmas. Oh,
I had help.
oh, that is so sweet. Thank
From-
you. You know, I'm going to put this in my office so I can look
glad
at
you
you
like
every day.
Well, I
Well,
like
thank you.
it. You're welcome.
That is so
And that's
precious.
my way to say to you today that I love you and you're a dear friend and I appreciate everything you do for me.
Thank you, thank you.
You ready to make some shells?
I am ready to make
All
some
right,
shells.
let's read the first ingredient list for you now. You're going to need 12-ounce box of jumbo shells, 1 14-ounce container extra firm tofu drained and crumbled, 2-pound 13-ounce jar ragu chunky garden combination pasta sauce. You'll need 3 tablespoons of Bill's Best chickenish seasoning, 3/4 cup Vegenaise, 2 tablespoons pine nuts, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 10-ounce box frozen chopped spinach squeeze dried, and 20 multigrain premium saltine crackers crushed into crumbs. It's very simple. Now all we need to do, Linda, is mix our tofu and our Vegenaise together. I've already crumbled that. So if you want to stir in the Vegenaise, let me give you a little scraper.
Now the Vegenaise, once again, is something that you can buy at a health food store.
In the refrigerated section.
In the refrigerated section, and actually it's a much healthier version of mayonnaise.
There's no egg in this.
Let me tell you, it tastes much better than
I like
mayonnaise.
this much better than real mayonnaise. I was surprised. I was a real mayonnaise kind of person, too. As soon as you stir in your 3/4 cup of your Vegenaise, you're going to add your 3 tablespoons of Bill's Best chickenish seasoning. Did you hear about Bill's Best?
No.
This week, I got a phone call. We all need to pray for them, and we need to pray for them even if this is a rerun ever. But their plant was closed. They were being forced to move. And just like 2 days before that happened, they got a contract for selling their seasonings to the prisons all through California.
My.
And so I'm like, the devil is trying really hard to stop this. So everybody, please pray for Bill's Best because they need another building and they need it fast. What would I do without their seasonings?
You know what they say, man's extremity is God's opportunity.
That's right. It was 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and now we're just going to crumble in the spinach, and you can, don't forget your spinach.
Yes.
This makes such a good filling. And using the tofu with the Vegenaise and the Bill's Best gives it the cheese flavor that you'll want. And anytime you want to make a cheese flavor in something, whether it's a lasagna or any manicotti, whatever you want to do, if you take from this recipe the Vegenaise, the tofu, the chickenish seasoning, and mix that into your lasagna filling, whatever, you will have the replacement that you need for cheese. So it works very simply. Now we're going to crush our cracker crumbs. And this is premium brand, and they make a multi-grain cracker. You can use Barbara's whole wheat crackers. You might want to, use a few less of those because they're a little bit hardier cracker than these.
Do you know, I suspect my husband will love this recipe too.
There's no onion in it.
No onions. Oh, you know what happened today, Barb? It was hilarious. We have got a fantastic local health food store, and Teresa Wilson is there, and she serves lunches, especially for the 3ABN workers here, and serves tremendous vegetarian lunches. So we went over there for lunch, and it was hilarious because she knows that Dan does not like onions. Well, they kind of tease each other back and forth, and she came out and served us vegetable soup today. Well, I got a bowl of vegetable soup, and Dan got a bowl of water with the hugest onion in it that you have ever seen. I wish you could have seen the look on his face.
Was someone waiting there to take a picture?
But she got him really good today.
I'm going to scoot you over just a little.
She got him.
I wish I could have seen it. Did he eat it?
It was good. Absolutely not. He was like, this is where humor gets too far.
Good old Danny. I saw him out in the lobby right before we taped. He's a funny guy. He was saying how you wanted to keep him around, and he wasn't going to actually go on his little trip he had planned. So you would miss him too much.
That's true.
So, okay, and all you have to do, this is so easy. We've just poured our sauce in there, and here's a spoon for you. We're going to fill a couple shells. What I do with this is put them in the pan. I'm just going to set this here diagonally. We boiled the shells for about 10 minutes. Okay, and I start in one corner. I guess I can start up here. And this one you're going to put here. Oh, let's see. And then I just put them in a straight line right across, and then the next line all the way down, and then they are. But you know what? This filling is already, doesn't have to be cooked because there's no egg in it. So if you even want to use it as like a sandwich spread or something like that, you could.
You know, that's a great idea. It really is.
But
versatile
this is a
recipe.
nice recipe to make for Sabbath. Make it up on Friday, just put it in the fridge, and then set your timer if you have one on your oven, and then just have it done when you get home from church.
And it's so simple, and I'm going to run to the oven.
We
and
have
get
one in
a
there. We'll
finished.
show you our finished one, and then you're going to bake this for about 35 minutes at 400 degrees. But you're going to sprinkle it with your 2 tablespoons
a
of
look.
pine nuts. So,
Isn't
it is.
that a beautiful dish?
you know, and I'm feeling kind of hungry.
You know, I'm kind of hungry myself. Barb,
Linda, was
is
that
that your
you?
stomach? Well, you know, we might as well just dip into
I
this.
think you need to try that. You're going to really
Yeah.
like that recipe.
I think we should. Do you have a fork?
I do.
We need to do a taste test here.
Here's a little plate for you and a spoon to dish them out with.
Oh. This is not only a recipe I think my husband will like, I think I'm going to love it.
I think this is a recipe you're going to want to make for the king in your house.
I think so.
So you have to taste it and tell me what you think. If you can get
Okay.
through into the filling. Is this good enough for the king at your house?
It's good enough for a king. It is, really, it
This-
is fantastic.
This might actually be my new favorite recipe that I've ever made. I mean,
Really?
for entrees, because I have a lot of favorites for desserts.
Well, it's easy too.
Oh, it is easy. It's simple because you just you
And
saw how easy it was to
very,
throw it
very
together.
tasty.
Don't forget, you're going to sprinkle these over the top when you're all done, and then bake it. So I think we are ready to move on to our fennel.
And there's nothing funner than fennel.
Would you like to read that recipe for us?
I think that would be fun.
Okay, great.
Okay, for the baked fennel with crumb crust, you will need 3 fennel bulbs cut lengthwise into quarters, 1 cup of day-old whole wheat bread crumbs, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley chopped, 1/8 of a teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and fennel leaves to garnish.
Now, I got to ask you, Linda, have you ever seen fennel before at the grocery store?
Never, never, never.
Well,
I've only seen fennel in like a herb jar.
oh, okay. Well, this is something that I really hadn't cooked with before a month ago, but I'd heard so many good things about it, and I thought, you know, this is one of those things. This was the recipe I thought my husband would hate that he liked, because fennel has a very, very mild licorice flavor, and you can smell it when you cut it. And so what we're going to do to prepare this bulb is we're going to cut the tops off about here, and you need 3 of these for this recipe. You want some boiling water that's been salted. We're just going to cut a little off the bottom. You don't want to separate it too much or it will fall apart when it boils. And you would just quarter the fennel bulb. Okay, and if there are any brown spots that are too brown on the outside, you can take your paring knife. Like this one was a little bit brown. We want to get rid of it. And then you're just going to put your quartered pieces in and boil for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15, depends on how big they are and how long it takes them to get tender. Once they're tender, you can take them, and if you want to bring our dish over here, Linda, just layer them in a baking dish, and out of the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, you're going to use half of that to brush on this. And then we're going to make a crumb topping, which I'm going to have you mix together while I finish this.
Okay.
And that's our, how much bread crumbs? 1 cup. That's about 3 slices. And then our salt is 1/2 teaspoon, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a couple tablespoons of parsley. And then, so you can go ahead and stir that together, and then I'll give you a little bit of, I guess I don't have too much of our oil left over. I probably hogged it just a
talking
little.
about a simple recipe.
Yes, this is nice. It's very delicate. The flavor is not licorice. I mean, you kind of get it, but it doesn't hit you until after you've tasted it. If that makes sense. Those taste buds must be on the back of our tongues. So, once you've got that mixed up, you're just going to sprinkle that really good over the top and just kind of totally cover the fennel bulbs. And then you're going to want to bake that at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes or until it's golden brown on the top.
Wow, this one's a simple
Yes,
one.
and you want to have very simple recipes for your sweetheart because you don't want to be spending all day in the kitchen, do you?
That's right. You want to spend some time with your sweetheart.
That's right, and you can make the shells ahead, and I just like simple dishes that look nice and taste great. And we have a finished one of these in the oven if you'd like to get it out, Linda. And we will show you the just beautiful browning on the top of the crumb crust, and it is delicious.
That looks fantastic.
Let's put this on here so you've got it. And if you want, now it's hot, so if you want to try, you can. I've got a little plate.
Okay, you guarantee I won't burn my tongue?
Well, try not to.
Oh, boy. Do you know, I don't believe I've ever had fennel before.
Do you hate licorice? Because if you hate
No, actually,
licorice,
I like the licorice taste.
so it should be just very mild and delicate. But it has a, I don't know how to describe it really, kind of a cross between, once it's cooked, like cooked celery, a vegetable, something like that. I'm not exactly, what do you think it tastes like?
Let me see. I'm going to have to try it again. There's something that it tastes like.
This, yeah, it's some root vegetable or something like that. Now, fennel is very good for you. Fennel is a natural diuretic. It gets rid of the excess water that maybe builds up in your system. It's also very good for your digestive system. So this is something you definitely want to add to your repertoire. And it makes a great broth for vegetable soup.
Yes.
So when you boil that, don't throw away the water from the fennel. You want to go ahead and use that and make that into soup. So.
In addition, you didn't mention this, but if you want your house to smell wonderful with a hint of licorice, I tell you, you're going to want to cook fennel.
Yes, definitely cook this. Now, we have a bread recipe for you that we're going to put up on the screen so that you can have the ingredients, but we're not actually going to demonstrate this. So we're going to make some polenta and red bell pepper bread, and you're going to need 3 cups of unbleached bread flour plus a little more for dusting, 1 tablespoon milled cane sugar, 1/4 ounce sachet of rapid rise dried yeast, 1 1/2 cups polenta, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 red bell pepper roasted, peeled, and diced, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And so what we have here is the finished bread, and actually it should have been made in just a little smaller bread pan so that it would raise up a little bit higher. I baked that for 30 to 35 minutes at 375 degrees.
So is it the polenta that gives it the golden look to it?
Yes, and I actually used a very coarse polenta, and I wasn't sure how that would work, but it seemed to get soft during baking, so that was okay. I was a little bit nervous. So you could probably use coarse or fine and be okay. You might have to adjust the flour just a little bit, and maybe a little, if you think it needs an extra tablespoon of oil, that would be okay too. So, now we're going to make our baby, the buttery mint carrots. And Linda, go ahead and read those for us.
You'll need 2 tablespoons of minced fresh mint or 2 teaspoons of dried mint flakes, 1 pound bag of peeled baby carrots, 2 tablespoons of earth balanced margarine, 2 tablespoons of milled cane sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of water.
And that's all you need. Now, I've already got our water boiling, our 1 cup of water. So we're going to add the 1/4 teaspoon of salt to our water, and we're going to put in our bag of carrots. I just, again, easy, just bring it home. Ouch.
You know, I love these baby carrots. I eat them raw all the time.
Oh
They're
yeah,
delicious.
this is great, and I send this in lunches all the time too for Nathan.
It's very quick and easy and full of nutrition.
That's right. Now you just want to cook these just until they're tender for 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cover these and set our timer. Let that go. And I have some that I've already boiled, and so we're going to put them in here to finish them off. And we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of earth balanced margarine. Go ahead and you can scrape that in here.
Now, what is the difference between Earth Balanced margarine and, say, a margarine you could buy at the grocery store?
Well, I use this margarine because it's not hydrogenated, and hydrogenated fats are a fat that's not good for you to eat, and you really don't want to consume that if you can avoid it. And that's why I choose that. I like the flavor of it, and it's also lower in fat grams than a lot of the margarines that are out there. Now go ahead and sprinkle our 2 tablespoons of milled cane sugar over the top, and I'll blend that in, and this will, you know, this recipe is good now, but it is fantastic if you make this ahead and let it set, because then all the flavors blend. And I actually think, do you like sweetened carrot recipes? Like honeyed carrots and things like that? Well, they always taste better when they're a little cooler than warmer in temperature. And, you know, we're going to actually make parsleyed carrots today because I ruined our mint. I brought it with me because I was afraid that they wouldn't find it at the store. And I had it in that famous backpack of mine. And I forgot about it until the next day. And of course, when I went to check on it, it was
shriveled.
It was a disaster. But don't those look good?
Yes, well, I can just imagine what it would taste like with a little bit of mint flavor there. It'd be fantastic.
And it's a very, you know, it's really for the green, because the mint flavor doesn't come out strong in this recipe. It's very, very mild. So we'll see how it tastes with the parsley today. And that is it for our buttery mint
It
carrots.
looks good.
And this was a recipe my mother sent me, so thank you, Mom. And I think we're ready to go on to our dessert. And for our sweetheart today, we're going to be making pan-fried apple slices over sweetheart puffs. And the ingredients that you're going to need, you'll need 1 box Pepperidge Farms puff pastry sheets thawed, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of Earth Balanced margarine divided, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/4 cup water, 4 medium Granny Smith apples thinly sliced, and 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons milled cane sugar divided. Now, you know, Linda, this wouldn't be Sweetheart Day without something with some hearts in it.
That's right.
So we're going to start, though, with our apples. And we want to melt this margarine. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. If you cook the apples too long or over too high of a heat, you will turn them to applesauce. Okay.
And that would not be good.
No,
so
we don't
you just want to make these like kind of a crisp tender.
Yes, exactly. So we want this to be a little bit soupy. And I'm going to go ahead and put our apple slices in. And we're going to watch them and get them started. We're going to coat them first with the margarine. So you can kind of get the flavors. And then I'll show you how to make the puff pastry while this begins to sizzle and cook. Okay. We're going to let this cook down, and then we're going to add our sugar, our milled cane sugar, or water, or cinnamon. So, you know, I don't know what I was doing this time I was shopping, but I actually bought the wrong puff pastry. I was supposed to get sheets, and this morning, imagine my surprise when I opened the shells instead. But I know how to make lemonade out of lemons.
That's it.
So I figured out how to make this work. And that's what we all need to do when we do a little, you know. I discovered that you can get this dough to roll out. Just big enough for our heart shape. I am using a 4-inch cookie cutter and about a 2.5-inch cookie cutter.
That is a good idea.
And you're going to cut out 4 to 6 of these.
Well, you know, your mother did not raise any dummy, huh?
No. You want to grab the baking sheet, and we'll put these on while we give our apples another stir. This serves 4 to 6. It just depends on how generous you are with the apples. Okay. And you're going to make big ones, and then you're going to make some little ones. Because we're going to what we're going to do, we'll bake these, get our nice puff, and then we're going to put a spoonful of apple over the top of that, and top it with another little heart. So I'll make a couple little ones. You know, my stomach is really growling. I'm hungry.
Well, I tell you,
I haven't eaten
as
since.
soon as we're through with this program, I have got a meal for you, Barb.
You are so generous.
And you know what? I guarantee you'll like it.
Actually, you know, we should tell people what we do plan on doing right after this program. Go ahead.
We are going to take a long walk through downtown Thompsonville, USA.
That's right. So if you're there in about an hour, you'll see us.
Yes.
So you just want to line up your pan and then take a pastry brush. Oh, I got rid of our brush. Let's go to the back counter. I'll just use this spoon. And just brush a little bit of melted margarine on your hearts. And then sprinkle with a little bit of your excess milled cane sugar, which you can also find at the health food store. And then you're going to bake this at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. It just kind of depends on your oven and whether you're using a stone or not. And then they're going to come out looking like this. Well, they might actually look just a little different if you use the sheets instead. See how I still have the round cut out in there, but they will work for our purposes for today.
Yes.
So you can see how the apples are starting to caramelize just a little bit. We're going to coat them now with our milled cane sugar. This actually ends up tasting like an apple pie filling over, and our cinnamon, that's how much is that? A quarter teaspoon of cinnamon and a quarter cup of milled cane. Doesn't it smell like apple pie?
Oh, it smells heavenly.
Let me get those out of the way. We'll turn our handle around here too. They're almost done.
Do you know, Barb, I don't think I've ever had an apple recipe that I didn't like. Apples are one of God's greatest gifts. I love them.
I don't think I have either. The only way to ruin an apple is to put it in cold storage for a year.
That's true.
I really...
There's nothing worse than a mealy apple.
And I love them fresh. See, I was spoiled because I grew up in Moses Lake and Yakima, where they're like fruit capitals of the United States. Well, you might not know that, but they really grow a lot of fresh fruit there. And, oh, I didn't add our, you know what, I didn't cook this down enough to add the water to it, which is fine. Sometimes at home, I've made this recipe 3 times, and sometimes I got it drier than others, so. There you have it. We don't need the water today, so you can. Let's get out a little dessert plate down below, and I'll show you how we take our puff, and I want to actually, I don't really have a spoon. If you'll hold that plate close to me, Linda.
Okay.
That way I can just want to spoon some apples over this. Maybe a little bit of the juice. Okay. And then top it with another one of the puffs. Okay. And there you have your dessert.
Well, that looks
if you have all of
fantastic.
these ingredients ready and waiting for you, then you can just actually cook the apples. Make the puffs ahead of time, but then you can cook the apples up, you know, right after you finished with your dinner. That's going to be very hot.
I'll blow it.
Don't want to.
Heavenly.
It's a very good. I love this recipe. So
You can't go wrong with apples.
no, Bill loves apples
Really,
too.
really good.
You know, he grew up. His grandmother and his family made homemade apple butter every year in this huge copper pot over a fire they built outside that holds, I mean, like over 100 gallons or something. I mean, it is so big you can't imagine this pot. This is a huge family thing that they do every year, and so apples are very loved in our family. We have one more special thing, and that's our drink. We can't have a nice meal without something pretty to end it with, something to drink.
Yes,
this
let's
is a
do
very simple recipe. This is our mixed berry foamy. Go ahead, Linda.
You will need 1 can of Welch's White Grape Raspberry Frozen Concentrate, 2 cups of frozen mixed berry medley, and 3 cans of water. Quick and simple.
That's right. You want to put our Welch's grape juice in here, white grape raspberry.
Do you know it's always dangerous wearing white when you're working with dark colors?
And we had spaghetti sauce today.
You know, on the weekends that we're home, inevitably I'll be wearing a white shirt, right? And I'll be making my carrot juice, and I always get orange flecks on my white shirt.
Why would you make carrot juice in a white shirt?
I guess,
you
you
put
know,
on an
my
apron?
bum around clothes are
Yeah.
usually white t-shirts or white sweatshirts. Because white goes with everything, right?
That's right. White. Now we're just going to put our 3 cans of water in. So far I haven't gotten you. Give it just a little mix. We're going to pour part of it into our blender, and we're going to blend it with our frozen fruit.
Okay.
And then we put it right back in here, and
tell
it's
us
ready
about
to serve
the
immediately.
berry medley. Do you actually buy it like this?
Yes, this is mixed berry. It has raspberry, strawberry, blackberries, and blueberries in there, I believe.
Oh, it looks
Doesn't
delicious.
that look delicious?
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to clear out of here.
I think that's probably good.
Okay, then we're just going to
It should.
drop
Hopefully
those
we'll,
in there very
was
carefully.
frozen, so yeah. And you want the berries to be frozen when you make this because it will make it nice and frothy and foamy. So
Okay,
blend
are
it
you
till
ready?
it's super foamy, Linda, and then we'll pour it. It's looking good.
Think it's done?
Yeah, I think we can add that back here now. Just pour it immediately into our juice. That will also cool it down a little bit.
Oh, how pretty. Do you know, Barb, I tell you,
There's fiber in this drink.
the drinks that you make, they're one of my favorites. I've used several of your drinks several times when I've had company over.
I thought about
They're
that.
great.
And you know the funny part is, I never drink them.
You're kidding.
I'm not. I only make them for other people because I only drink water and juices. So if I drink other things, I don't feel so good. And
You
I'm not.
don't?
It's just me. It's that I spent too many years dehydrated, too many years sick, and I will drink this and have a taste. But water is what I crave, and that is what I drink all of the time.
Well,
I mean, those who know
this
me-
is good for a special treat.
That's right. Those who know me will tell you I'm never without that water bottle of mine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
that's
everywhere.
True. You
So-
take it, have water bottle, will travel.
Yes, we should have put a little ice in the glass. Isn't that? Can you see where it gets its name?
Beautiful.
Mixed to berry. Foamy.
Yes. Well,
So.
we better try it. Fantastic.
I think our hubbies are going to like this.
I think so too.
This is good to the last drop.
Absolutely. Well, we have our entire menu right here, and we're going to take a picture of it. And Barb, maybe you could just kind of describe what our audience is looking at.
Well, we have our shells and our red pepper polenta bread, our baked fennel, the hearts, the apple heart puff pastry, and our minted carrots. And you can find these recipes on my website or your website. And you can write to us if you'd like them
Yes.
as well.
Just in closing, you're going to have to share what is the most romantic thing that Bill ever did for you?
My husband, years ago, when I was really, really ill, prepared a really nice outing for me because I couldn't get out of the house much. He went to a restaurant ahead of time and took special things that I could eat. It was a really fancy restaurant. We were very poor. And at every course that came out, they brought a rose, and they brought a little note from him, and they brought something that I could actually eat. And he'd filled the house with balloons that had little notes inside of them, and I really think that was probably the most romantic thing that he's ever done. I've never forgotten it.
So sweet.
How about you?
You know, Dan, over the years, he's done a lot of memorable things. Probably the most recent is he went on his computer and he had found a birthday letter that he had written to me like 5 years ago. Aww. And he gave it to me just recently, and he said, Linda, everything in this letter that I wrote 5 years ago, you could triple it. And you know, I mean it more than ever before. I thought that was so, so precious.
So Danny has his romantic side, too.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we could probably talk about this on a whole program, but getting back to business, right now we want to share with you Barbara Kerr's address.
If you'd like more information on how to obtain Barbara Kerr's cookbook, A Taste of Health, please have a pen and paper ready to take down the following information. You may contact her by writing to Taste of Health Ministries, Post Office Box 38, Gaston, South Carolina, 29053. That's Taste of Health Ministries, Post Office Box 38, Gaston, South Carolina, 29053. Or call her at 803-936-1714. That's 803-936-1714. Visit her website for recipes, news, and a whole lot more at tasteofhealth.net. That's tasteofhealth.net.
You know, Barbara, I do have to say this is a drink that is good to the last drop.
I have to agree with you.
Good.
Lots of fiber in this
Yes.
juice.
And thanks again for all your hard work. I tell you, you put
welcome.
together a great menu.
Thank you. I put my heart into it.
Yes, you did. Well, we just want to encourage you to have a very, very happy Valentine's Day. And until next time, may the Lord richly bless you abundantly more than you could ever ask or think. See you next time.
God bless you.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friends. May God bless and keep